I'm going to spend the next 7 days learning about credit and trying everything I possibly can to get $10,000 in credit. After my previous challenge trading 7 days in the stock market, which was literally insane, I have some good news for you guys. I finally bought a bed. So I slept and I slept and I slept until I finally couldn't sleep no more. And today is finally the day where we start the new challenge on building my credit and seeing how I could get $10,000 in credit as a total beginner. I've been hearing about credit and it's a pretty polarizing topic. Some people say it's good for you, some people say it's bad for you and you should stay away from credit cards. But I've been watching TikToks, and yes, I've been watching TikToks, yes, I said it, and they've been teaching me a lot about finance and entrepreneurship, and I think I want to pull the trigger. So what did I do first? I opened up the old Google and looked up the first person that came to mind, credit, Stephen Liao. Obviously, he's doing something right if he has hot girls, Lambos, and all this free time in the world to travel and do whatever he wants. And not to mention, he is friends with Tai Lopez. And to be honest, I really want to be friends with Tai Lopez too. So I knew he had a course that he preaches, so I went to his Instagram to try to find it. With no surprise, it was right there in his bio. So I clicked it without hesitation and I was ready to learn what credit was. And I even got a $200 discount to get started. So I basically got started for free. I am lit. So I clicked the link, filled all my info, and now here we are, the course material. So I spent the next hour watching these videos to get a good grasp on credit because, like I said, I'm a complete beginner, so I have no idea about anything. Okay guys, I'm done. So this is what I learned in a nutshell. I learned that this credit number is an algorithmic number created by a series of actions that you do. So it's not a real number, it's an imaginary number. So how is it created? It's created by 3 companies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. These companies dictate the credit score you actually have, so let's call them the big 3. He also said it's kind of hard to get your foot in the door, so you should definitely start with a secured credit card. What is a secured credit card, Ish? I thought you would never ask. Let me explain it. It's basically a debit card, but instead of having a bank account with Bank of America or Chase, it's a credit card company. So what's the difference between a secured card and a normal debit card, Ish? I just want a normal debit card. What the heck? I thought you would never ask. Again, listen guys, a secured credit card actually reports to the big 3. Your debit card never does. So boom, that's what I did. So I opened up my first credit card and it was a secured credit card with Discover. And I waited for the decision and I finally got accepted.
Knowledge.
So I'm an official credit card holder. So now we have 1 secured credit card in our possession. So what did I do next? I took a shower, and I tell you, nothing beats a rainhead shower in the morning. I got out of the shower and I started doing more research, more and more and more, and I figured out some good information about some different ways to start building my credit. I stumbled upon this guy named Derek Kumo on Instagram, and he told me a lot. He said to get a personal loan because it looks good on your credit history. It makes it easier for companies to give you more credit cards because it builds that trust factor and it diversifies your portfolio. So you don't only have credit cards, you also have a loan on your credit report. So guys, I found a website online and it's called Credit Strong, and I bought a loan. So a lot of people are asking me, Ish, what is a loan? The one that I got is called an installment loan. It's basically on paper where you spend money, but you're actually paying it back and you never actually spend the money. As long as you pay the $30 for every month for 2 years, that loan will post on your credit report. Credit Strong will tell the big 3 that you're a good boy because you pay all your payments on time for 2 years, and the big 3 will basically trust you more. That's how it works. I learned that the more that the big 3 trust you, the more opportunities you have to increase your credit limits. So it's basically an equation. Every time the big 3 trust you more, your credit limits will increase more. And your credit score will increase more too, which basically correlates with each other. Having good credit works like this, guys. You can go to the car dealership and buy a car with a very, very low down payment, and boom, it's yours. All you really have to do is pay consistent months of the car payment. Like every single month, you just pay your car payment on time, and it's all posted onto your credit. So the credit companies trust you more after you pay for your car, and it just keeps increasing, similar to houses. You could go buy a house with a very, very low down payment compared to someone that doesn't have good credit, they have to spend a lot of money on the down payment because the credit companies, the big three, don't trust them as much. So you're already at an advantage. You could buy a house, or you could put a down payment on a house for a very, very low cost, maybe even 5%. That's like $50,000 compared to the person that doesn't have any credit and they have to put a down payment up like for $200,000. So it's just a no-brainer at this point. The more I learned about credit, the more things got really interesting to me. Do you want to know what my plan is when I get a big credit limit? Ha, that was a rhetorical question because I'm gonna tell you anyways, boy. So I'm gonna use my credit to advertise my company. Let me explain. This is my company, and I make money by having people pay me money for services I provide. Biggest problem for me is that I don't have a lot of people that come to me and purchase my services. So what I'm going to do with my credit is I'm going to advertise my company to all the people that are interested in my services by running Facebook ads. If I spend thousands in marketing, I can reach tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, who are interested in what I sell. And if I just lock in 3% of people that are interested in what I have to offer, I can make roughly $75,000 to $100,000. So if I make $100,000 or $75,000, I could pay the $2,000 off that I had initially spent with my credit and keep the rest of it for myself. Bro, why don't they teach this stuff in school? All they taught is y equals mx plus b so I could calculate the slope. The only slope I'm calculating is the word S because it begins with scam, because that's what school is, bro. I'm so tired, but I'm not going to try to get too political right now. So far, we secured a $1,500 secured credit card and a personal loan for $2,500. But I'm going to need a lot more than $1,500 to scale my company $75,000 or $100,000 plus. So how am I going to do this with $1,500 in credit? I'm not. Here's the plan. I did my research and it came across a few new credit card companies, and this is what I learned. American Express is a credit card company that's really hard to get approved, but once you get approved, they treat you like family. Capital One is a good company too, and I'll try to consider that. There's one company that really stood out from the rest, and that was the Apple Card. I looked into it and it was really promising, and I heard some really good information about it, how a lot of people really get approved really quickly. It's just the amount of limits that they get. So I applied for the credit card and boom, I got approved for $2,500, boy. Let's go, boy. Let's go, boy. Anyways, guys, all jokes aside. Anyways, guys, I did get approved for $2,500 on my Apple Card. So I'm officially, you know what I'm saying, Apple Card holder. So I could do a lot of things with that Apple Card. So far, this is an amazing challenge. I earned $4,000 in credit in such a little time. This is literally the best day ever. So a few days later, I talked to my credit guy again, my boy Derek, and about what are some ways I can get more credit cards and increase my credit score. He told me about this magical system I didn't even know existed. It's literally a game changer. It's called a trade line. And all of you guys are probably asking me, Ish, what is a trade line? I'm not going to tell you anymore. I gave you too much information. I'm just kidding, guys. I'll tell you, but at least for God's sake, can you follow me on Instagram at least? For goodness gracious. But anyways, guys, a trade line is a company that will give you $5,000, $1,000, $3,000 in credit if you buy something from their website. Okay, I know what you're thinking. It sounds a little scammy. I'm thinking the same thing. Should I even do this? And I kind of found out after more research that this is actually a common process and a practice in the credit world. So I went to the website that does these trade lines, myjewelersclub.com and newcoastdirect.com. So these are the websites that basically do this. If you buy something from their website, they'll give you $5,000 in limits. The main thing about these credit limits is you really can't use them. You can't go to your gas station and fill up your tank with the $5,000 limit. It's just strictly, the main function of these cards are literally just to report on the big three. That's why most people get them. Okay guys, at this point I have 2 credit cards, 1 secure loan, and 2 primary trade lines. I am lit, bro. Okay, this challenge is so awesome, and I'm so close to hitting my goal to 10,000. I could almost taste it. A few weeks later, I talked to the best credit guru in the game, and he gave me a credit hack that literally sped things up 10x. It's called an authorized user account. Let me explain. Usually the biggest reason the big three don't trust you is because you lack experience and trust. They don't want to give a little kid or some random guy a large amount of risk. What if I told you there's a way to add 10 years of trust and experience to your profile without having to do anything yourself? This is what I learned. What if I told you there was a way to add $25,000 in credit limits to your credit profile without actually having $25,000 in credit limits? This sounds too good to be true. This is exactly what I said to the guy. But you don't have to have credit experience or history yourself, but you can buy it off someone that does. Let me explain. Derek told me he has friends that will charge me anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to add me onto their account as an authorized user. What does this mean? What this means is Joe Schmo, Derek's friend, whatever you want to call him, has 10 years of credit history and $25,000 in limits that he will give me if I pay him. Now you guys probably have like 10,000 questions, and trust me, I did too. I had no idea. I wanted to ask him every single thing, so this is what I did. First off, the biggest question is, why would you pay $1,000 for someone to give you access to their history? Like, how does that even make sense? Like, access to history? That's where you're wrong. I'm actually paying Joe Schmo, whatever his name is, to tell the big three that I've been a good boy. More trust, more credit limits. The more that the big three trust you, the more credit limits that I'm gonna get. And Joe Schmo's basically a testimonial or a witness to tell the credit bureaus that I've been a good boy. And another question is, how does he tell the big three? Does he have his phone number or something like that? No, he gives me 100% of the access to the credit file. So that means all of his experience, all of his credit, all of his everything. So that's kind of a lot of a risk, you know, for someone random to give me all of their credit just for $1,000. But does that mean I could just run off with his $25,000 and never see him again? No, because this is how it works. You know, he puts me on his credit card and he gets mailed a credit card, but it never goes to me. I never touch the credit card. I don't have the numbers or anything like that. It basically goes to him. He cuts it up, and all I'm really paying for is for him to testify to the big three that I'm a good person and I'm giving him all my access when he really isn't. But in their eyes, what they're seeing is Joe Schmo gave me a credit card and it looks really, really, really good. That's why he's charging me $1,000, because it looks very good. So I bargained the price a little bit and I got it down to $600 for an authorized user from Mr. Joe himself. Mr. Schmo, I appreciate you. Anyways, guys, after a few days it posted onto my account. Now I officially have an authorized user that looks really good, and now I'm going to go apply for a new credit card under my name, and maybe it's going to get me to that 10K mark. I feel it. I know it's coming. Guys, this is where I currently stand in my journey. It's been a few months now, and I'm so happy to explain everything. This is everything that I've done personally to get to that point where I, have a $4,000 credit limit. I have a 750 plus credit score, and I'm just taking off, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram, guys. Ask me questions about where I am in my credit journey. I will happily give you these answers. Just DM me. Look, my Instagram's right there. Just DM me. I love meeting new people, and I love seeing people come from my YouTube to my Instagram. It makes me feel so good about myself, and that's the reason I make YouTube videos. I just love, expressing myself and explaining what I've done and how hopefully maybe you guys could do the same thing. And guys, just wait for part 2. Maybe we could even run this, credit journey up to 1 million. I don't know. Maybe one day. Let's see what happens. But make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss any new videos from me. I'm doing a lot of really cool challenges, so I really appreciate it, guys. And thanks for your time. Go comment, go like, go show some love, and peace.